behavior definitely depends on environment. I'm sure there are crazy mutations that they attained from like being outside of the space station and all that high radiation, but I don't know. So
this crazy three-dimensional structures, really Andromeda strains.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But I'm glad you asked this question. And so this is a musing that I have too. I like to have these philosophical musings. So thinking about, we have these single-celled microorganisms that can live in space, right? We can't live in space. Why is that? We're really big, complex networks of multiple cells, and we can't just change like this, right? They can. So then I get to thinking about like, okay, so we're here, and we have these big clunky structures, and we develop these brains, and we make these spaceships, right? If we're gonna like do a one-way trip to Mars, these microorganisms could very easily possibly survive on that ship. This is just an example, right? Survive on that ship and then go there. So in what sense are we the smart ones? Maybe these bacteria are just sitting around waiting for us to ship them somewhere else before we blow up where they live, right?
There will be so many microbes left on Earth, even if we all annihilate ourselves.
Right, but they'll be Martians way before we will.
Yeah.
Maybe they already are.
Oh, Brenda, you had your hand up for a while.
I was also wondering, when we're changing DNA of things, like I read we're making it so mosquitoes will only be males to get rid of mosquitoes, like how much time and effort goes into studying the reaction it has to the environment?
In some cases, probably not enough, depending on what the funding source is. In other cases, plenty. So that's an interesting example, mosquitoes especially. They were doing some research that one of mosquitoes that specifically carries a lot of these pathogens is an urban mosquito. So if you were to remove it from the general environment, no harm, no foul. They have like various ecological models that they'll look at, but it depends on the specific species, right? And we do need to be super duper careful with this. So this is a great place for like computer scientists to come in and build ecological models. And going back to this question over there, how far is too far? Something that hasn't been simulated or studied in depth is too far, really, exactly. Regardless of what it is, I think. So.
Yeah, I agree. I like the concept of urban mosquito.
Yeah. Yes, beautiful swoopy hair.
I just wanted to add, so the mosquitoes that carry diseases are generally invasive species.
Yes.
And it's totally our fault. We brought them on ships everywhere, and now they live everywhere and make us sick. And so now it's a problem that we are now trying to solve that we created.
Classic human thing.
Yeah, right. So, in that case, it is a case of like, we made this problem, and now we want to fix it, but we also have to make sure we're not going to make things worse again by fixing it.
I think that's an interesting idea too. Is there's a few different things like weed, invasive species, or even something like thermophile. It's like, well, what's a weed? A weed is something that we don't like, right? What's an invasive species? Well, that might be something that we bring that we don't like, right? Or what's a thermophile? What's something that likes high temperatures? Well, it's something that doesn't like the temperatures that we like, right? But if you think about us, like, we live in a really cold environment. We have a lot of oxidative stress around us all the time. So we're kind of extremophiles in terms of an animal kingdom sense.
Yeah.
So I think, all these terms and these, there's all this nuance, and we don't realize that a lot of these ideas we have to justify what it is we're doing are coming from a biased source anyway.
That's why we need more diversity in science. Dog scientists,
yes.
Scientists study things from all these different species.
Or bacteria. I think we need exactly 420 weed scientists.
And we're done.
Okay.
Panel's over. No margin for
No, okay.
I think it's Eastern Europe where they use for years like viruses as an antibiotic.
Yes, phage. Okay. This is my phage are a super cool potential answer to antibiotic resistance, I think is what you're referring to. So viruses that infect bacteria. So, enemy or whatever of our enemy is our friend. Did I say it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm just repeating an idiom. So to use these viruses to infect bacteria that infect us as a means of killing them is something that they were doing in the Soviet Union for a long time. I've heard, perhaps this is just a clever anecdote that I have, that this was not researched in the United States for a long time because of Red Scare politics, but that might be my youngin' brain telling you.
Well, there is a lot of research that has been going on in recent years everywhere, though, for this type of thing.
Because it's a huge deal.
Yeah, right, because antibiotic resistance is a huge problem that a lot of people are concerned about. So this is, again, just in case anybody missed the idea is you kind of, if you've got a bacteria that you don't want infecting you, you take a virus that only infects that bacteria, and it'll go through your body and kill that bacteria that you don't want there. The problem is getting it to go all the way throughout your body stably and actually do all of that. So it's not like there was some amazing thing that we haven't been doing or anything. There's a lot of people researching it, and it has potential, but right now has no great applications. There's too many kinks that we still need to work out to make it effective. But that doesn't mean it won't be in the future.
Yeah. It's 4 o'clock now, but I will stick around. I know some of you will, if anyone has any more questions. So
We got 5 more minutes.
Oh, we do?
We probably have the time for one more question.
Okay, if we got one more. Yes, is that Link back there? Okay.
So for the concrete application that you mentioned, for the limestone creating bacteria, are they researching doing it in mass scale for things like repairing infrastructure, like bridges, roads?
Yeah, so, yeah, they're looking, I'm trying to remember when that study was that I took that picture from. I think it was 2010 or something like that, in a lab on the East Coast. Now it's escaping me. But I was just in a lab in, where was I? I was in a lab at the University of Queensland in Australia, and they're looking at how microbes degrade concrete, and they're looking at ways to line concrete with certain nitrogen sources, for example, that will inhibit the microbes from degrading. But what you're talking about the optical technology where they're looking at fixing, and I know I haven't seen anything coming out in terms of that being commercialized like full scale yet. So I still think that's very much like a lab idea. I could be wrong. I haven't looked into that in a few years now in terms of where the research from that lab has gotten. Other than that, that's something that is actively being.
So you don't have anything concrete about that?
That's why we need to study.